Job Vlog.
So I finally procured a USB version of the SEGA Saturn controller. This is officially licensed by SEGA themselves and made by Retrobit. On unboxing, what you have on the outside looks like, kind of what the SEGA Saturn stuff looked like back in the day. Inside, I can't really say so sure. Was it this scant? Just a little plastic tray and no documentation. Come on, you want to give me a sticker I can put on my laptop? Nothing really. And on first touch, it feels a little sticky. I chose the slate gray with this transparent quality to it, and I think it, that looked like it would be kind of nice. See the innards, though there's not much in an older controller, no vibration function, no complicated suspended bumper assembly. But I wasn't really thrilled with the way it felt in hand. I've never seen a button jiggle more than this A button. I don't think that the controllers were like this back in the day, though I hadn't really played with the Model 2 SEGA Saturn or Japanese SEGA Saturn style controller before. I can recall from the 6-button Genesis, it didn't feel like that back in the day. Maybe the texture on the back's a little bit different too. But that D-pad, good God does it feel good. On first impressions, this feels amazing. And that is the reason why you want this, because the lure of that SEGA Saturn D-pad. Now I have heard that the bumpers on the top are not the way they used to be, where they had micro switches. These do not. And my right bumper feels hard to press. It's not giving me a satisfying click of any kind. I picked this up to enjoy Sega games on my hacked PlayStation Classic. I've loaded up the whole Genesis library, Sega CD games, and a little bit of Dreamcast. But this will also work out good for fighters. However, you're going to have to make some modifications, and you'll have to do so carefully, because you could accidentally disable your controller in RetroArch. Speaking of which, I think it should be pronounced RetroArch. I understand it's archive, but when you leave the CH there. On first impressions playing the Dreamcast Capcom vs. SNK, I felt like I had trouble firing off some fireballs with Ken and Ryu, but other moves were working effective enough. After a little bit of practice, I had no problem performing my specials. But this is still a very minimum controller for that $25, and Retrobit was making a version of this that wasn't officially licensed. I'd like to be able to compare the two, because that one was cheaper. This is a controller short on special features, but the hardwired 10-foot USB cable will suffice. If you feel comfortable enough reassigning various button inputs, then go ahead and give a look at the SEGA Saturn controller with USB port from Retrobit. I give it an 8.2 out of 10. For the 5 of you still watching, I dare you to go to my Patreon, patreon.com/VonFry, and sign up for $1 a month to get access to my weekly podcast. What are you, chicken?